put the subtitle of the book, how Jay-Z went from street corner to corner office. And in a recent song that DJ Khaled put out, God Did, he says the following. He says, judge it how you judge it. Say we go in corporate. Nah, we just corner boys with the corner office, which I'm not going to say that he took that from the book and then put it into the song, but it's very much a theme of his life. And one of the big takeaways that I had from the book, it was literally one of the first big ideas I took out, was this: evolution is the mark of every great success. And he started out selling drugs, but now has transformed himself into this, huge businessman. What do you think drove that? Was it kind of the street credibility and the street mentality that made him successful? Was he always going to be successful without the music? Like, kind of unpack a little bit as to why is he the one who was able to do this out of all of the thousands of rappers over the last 30 years that didn't achieve the same amount of success that Jay-Z had?
Yeah, Jay-Z above all is very honest in his lyrics, which is, I think, kind of unusual. A lot of people brag, a lot of people, bluff. But if you go through his, you find a lot of sort of instances where, when you check the facts, like, it's actually true. Whatever he is boasting in a lot of his songs, but the boasts that he makes are often true. So, I think he would say, and he has said in many ways, he was lucky because a lot of his peers are dead or in jail. And I think that's why he's focused a lot on criminal justice reform, that kind of stuff. He recognizes that he could have been a statistic. We had a few near death experiences, kind of like in and out with the law, never really got in trouble for anything. He's had legal issues in the past, but never did any serious time or anything like that. But I think there's that element. There's the lucky and good, right? And the good is, I think first and foremost, he has this incredible lyrical ability. In writing the book, there are stories in there where like Jay-Z has this reputation for he never writes down his rhymes. He keeps them all in his head. And there was this one guy I interviewed, a producer from the very early days who knew Jay. He knew this kind of reputation. He didn't believe it. He's like, who can keep all those songs in their head? So, he went into the studio with Jay, and Jay was just kind of goofing off with the guys, and the studio time, they have an hour or two in the studio, the clock is ticking down, and producer's like, get with it, let's go. And so Jay-Z's like, all right, and he takes out this notepad, and he's sort of like, he's going like writing in the notepad, and the producer's like, oh man, he's totally full of it, like he writes his stuff down, this is all just some myth that he's put out. And so he goes and he spits his verse very clean, leaves the studio on time. And so this producer's going to sort of clean up, and he walks into the recording booth, and there's the notepad, and Jay-Z left it, and he opens it up, and it's totally blank. I think he likes to mess with people in that way, and there is really like a cinematic kind of aura to him, and he likes to do things like that. So right off the bat, to have these ideas that come out of his brain, and into songs is impressive enough, but to be able to just commit them to memory, you got to think that applies to other areas of his life and business as well. So, that's the creative side. On the business side, he just has this ability, in writing the book, people were talking about, he's a big chess player, but he's not thinking about, what's my next move? It's like, what's my next move after my next move after my next move after my next move? And, so you could take something like him getting a stake in the Nets, which happened, I think in 2003. And, if you kind of go through the course of his career, you can see these other little steps, and you're like, oh, that's what he was after, right? It's like, okay, he really wanted to move the Nets to Brooklyn and have equity in a franchise that was going to be worth more. Oh, wait, he wanted a piece of the new stadium, which is going to be more than just basketball. Oh, wait, he wanted to start his own sports agency because he saw the value in that. Oh, wait, now he's doing this stuff with the NFL. And suddenly you begin to realize that maybe getting a stake in the Nets, in 2003 or whatever it was, what he really wanted was to buy an NFL team in 20 years, right? And now we're starting to see that there are pieces being moved around where he might, he's been mentioned as a potential buyer for the Commanders along with Jeff Bezos, maybe then doing something together. So that's kind of how he operates. And I think one of the fascinating things that is hard to know is did he actually set out and say like, I want to buy a football team in 20 years, or was he just like, I have an idea of where I want to go, and if I keep doing things in that path, I'll get to some pretty interesting opportunities. So, but I think you'd have to have that. What is it? Would you rather have $200,000 or lunch with Jay-Z? You'd have to get that lunch with Jay-Z to really find the answer.